Holy shit, that's bitter. That's really nice. That is really bad. I am not impressed. Hello friends, we are gathered here today for yet another matcha taste test video. Today I have some highly requested brands. We have 6 brands that we're gonna be talking about, and not only that, but we are gonna be spilling some tea. I'm excited for this episode. If you're new here, check out my matcha guide. I'm not gonna be going over how to prepare matcha because I have a bunch of videos on that, but we will be comparing Kettl, Nekohama, Magic Hour, Breakaway Matcha, Tenzo Matcha, and Cha Matcha. What I'm gonna be looking for today is good color, good flavor obviously, and the smoothness, the fine grain of the matcha powder itself. And we'll just compare and I'll tell you my thoughts. As a reminder, if there's a matcha that you love that I end up not loving, it doesn't really matter. The most important thing with matcha is that you enjoy what you're drinking, and everybody has a different palate. So let's get whisking. Matcha number 1, this is from a brand called Magic Hour. I haven't heard of this one too much, but it was an ad that I think I saw on Instagram, and they really have the branding down. I feel like that's one of the sellers of this brand. It's very spiritual and mystical. They even call their matcha the 1111 matcha, so I was kind of sold on that. My initial thoughts on this brand were that it's probably more branding than it is quality, but I think I'm actually pleasantly surprised with the color of this shot. It looks pretty good. It looks very smooth, and the smells good. It's mild, but a little bit grassy. And I think they do claim that this is ceremonial grade matcha. I picked up the small bag and this was $44. It comes out to about $1.50 per gram. I think it's kind of pricey for the size of this little thing, but it is organic and ceremonial grade, so let's give it a shot. Nice, very smooth. The aftertaste is a little bit more bitter. I feel like you don't taste much up front. Probably wouldn't repurchase, but I would drink this with no complaints. Yeah, actually, the aftertaste is kind of bitter. Definitely a bitter aftertaste. The thing with organic matcha is that the flavor tends to be a little bit more dull because it requires farmers to basically use soil that is fresher, doesn't have as much history in it, and the richness and the nutrients from previous harvests. So I'm personally not a huge fan of organic matcha as much as conventional matcha. But that being said, this one is not bad. Is it $44 good? I'm not so sure. Let's try it in a latte. Okay, right off the bat, the color looks actually pretty good. I'm very impressed with it. It stands up to the milk. Ooh, yeah. I'm still getting that bitter aftertaste even with the milk added to it. But the flavor is there. It's definitely bold. If you don't mind a bitter aftertaste, this one's not bad. But again, I think you could get better for your money, and part of what I'm paying for is probably definitely the branding. But it is very cute, so there's that. So next up we are trying Kettl. This is already one of my favorites, so I can already say going in that I know I enjoy their matcha. They have a little cafe, I think 2 in New York. So if you live in New York City, definitely stop by. It's owned by this guy named Zach, and he spent a lot of time studying tea in Japan. He wrote a book that he sent to me. Really insightful if you want to learn all about Japanese tea. I find that he's very respectful of the culture and just really loves tea. You can tell when someone is passionate about it, and I love that you can tell with him. I have the Wakaba blend here, and this one costs $24 per 20 grams, so it comes out to $120 per gram. The color, I'm gonna tell you right now, is probably the best that we've seen yet today, and the smell when we were whisking it was really something. That's really nice. They do have multiple blends on their site, so I just want to point out that depending on what your flavor preference is, you might like one over the other, but I picked like a mid-price one just to stay in the same range, and it's really good. It's smooth, no crazy bitter aftertaste, just really lovely. I would actually prefer to drink this one on its own because it's that good and I'd want to taste it. 0 complaints, it's a win. Let's try it with some milk. Beautiful color, wow. So this one's looking great. Super vibrant, almost like a highlighter green color in a way, which I always really like. I mean, that's good. I will say that some people have difficulty deciding which matcha they want to pick from the site because they don't have many descriptions on their website about the tea, but I'm probably gonna reach out and let them know that maybe it's something that would be nice to add. It could just be a little bit tricky if you're new to matcha, but the Wakaba blend, I think most people would like. This is fabulous, very happy with that. The next one we're gonna be trying is Tenzo Matcha. This one's pretty popular, they've been doing really well. I have to say that as a customer, I found this website so frustrating. It was impossible for me to find a way to purchase it without the frills. I didn't want the electric whisk, I didn't want to subscribe, I just wanted one-time matcha. But I think their selling point is really that it's something you should make an everyday habit and they really want you to sign up for the subscription. Kind of weird, but I ended up getting 3 boxes in the mail when I paid for just one. So I'm not sure if that's just how they portion it out. I'm also not a fan of the fact that it comes in single packets. So it comes in a packet like this. I know that some people prefer single serve packets for convenience. Personally, I find them to be very messy. I'm just not really a fan of that. But again, my biggest gripe with this brand was that I just found it so hard to navigate. It almost felt kind of scammy. Like they really wanted me to buy the subscription and I really didn't want to. So, but the color, it's not looking too hot. It's definitely leaning a little bit more brown, yellow, green. They claim that quality is a big selling point in their matcha, but I'm looking at the color right now. I'm not super impressed by it. It's definitely leaning a darker, yellowy, brown, green. It is organic. Organic can kind of degrade the quality and means that it doesn't necessarily taste as good. So it's not always a great thing, even though that's a big selling point for a lot of people. And the price for this one came out to $40 and per gram, I think it was $2. So definitely up there in price, more expensive than the last one we tried. Just looking at it, I can tell you it doesn't look as good as the one we just tried, which was also organic, but we'll give it a shot. It smells good, doesn't smell like much. Whoa, holy shit, that's bitter. That is really bad. Can you try this? I feel like it just punched me in the mouth. So what I'm gonna say is this, for a brand that is so health focused, like they really promote it as this super food ingredient, something that you should really have for optimal health, they should not be using a low quality matcha like this that has this brown tint, because as we know, the higher the quality of the matcha, the more nutrition there is in the matcha. So I am not impressed. This was a no for me. We'll try it over milk, but I'm pretty sure I know it's gonna be bad. Look, the color is not the worst out there, but it's definitely not the best. I'm just grateful the milk is in here. It makes it a little bit better, but honestly, it punches you in the mouth right away with this not so great flavor, so I'm not a fan of this one. Also pretty expensive, wasteful packaging, scammy website. This one's not it for me, I'm sorry. So the next one we are trying is from Nekohama Matcha. This is a newer brand. I have tried it before and I thought it was great. The price for this is $60 for 40 grams, and then it comes out to about $150 per gram. So it's a little bit pricier than Kettl, but I will say that you are getting what you pay for because it's great stuff. I've tried it before, like I said, and I loved it. Smell is great. This matcha is definitely a little bit more on the mellow side. There's none of that super grassy or super umami flavor. No bitter aftertaste, very smooth. Color is stunning. I mean, look at that, right? It looks so good. And I'm pretty sure that one of the owners is half Japanese. So always love to support matcha brands that are Japanese family owned. I think that's super important to do when you can, and it's good. So it makes it even easier. Let's try it with some milk. Yeah, color is beautiful, stands up to the milk, looks great. I have no complaints. I'll just say that this is probably for someone who enjoys more of a bold matcha flavor, something that is really kind of strong and that you taste right away, versus the Kettl one, which is a more mellow flavor. This one's great because you can enjoy it as a latte or on its own, but I think no matter what you add it to, the flavor will shine through, which is really important. So nothing bad to say about it. This one's great. I like it. Next up, we have Breakaway Matcha. I'm really excited to try this one. It looked very promising, and I found out about this brand because I was asked to contribute to an article someone was writing about some of the best matcha that you can buy. And this was someone else's recommendation. I'd never heard of it before, but it comes in this beautiful package like this. This is the intro flight, which is $36. Does come out to a little bit more per gram, but I think it's a really great way to try a variety of matcha blends. There are different types of matcha, different flavor combinations, and kind of notes that you get from various matchas. So I think this is a great way to start and introduce someone to matcha. And it looks beautiful. So we got Blend 93, Blend 94, 95, and Hyper Premium Organic. We're gonna be trying Blend 94 because I feel like that's what I would naturally gravitate towards. And I don't really know anything about this brand, but I'm very into the packaging. Looking at the color, it looks beautiful, very promising. It's got a nice vibrant green, none of that brown yellow tint going on. And it smells really fragrant too, which I really like. Wow, that's actually really nice. It's very smooth. It's a little bit tannic. It has that kind of grassy flavor, but it's not unpleasantly bitter. This one's really quite nice, actually. I like this a lot. Looks great, smells great, tastes great. I have no complaints. We're gonna add it to the milk now. That's gorgeous. Looks good. Yeah, this is stunning. Wow, this is nice. I would buy this again. I feel like this is just such a great gift, something that allows someone to try so many things at once. The price is pretty decent for what it is, and wherever they're sourcing their matcha from, really enjoyed it. So this is a win for me. I like this one. Next, we're gonna be talking about Cha Matcha. And I decided not to buy the matcha because I do not want to support this business. And I can tell you that I've had the matcha many times when I lived in New York City. It's really not that good. I don't usually get into tea like this, but I feel like it's really important because, like I mentioned, I love to support Japanese family-owned businesses when I can, especially when it comes to matcha. And when I can't, I always look to make sure that the brand I feel like is being respectful of Japanese culture. I don't really care personally who wants to sell Japanese products, but I always feel like it's important to be respectful. And unfortunately, Cha Matcha is the opposite of all of those things. And I was actually really disappointed because I used to be a really big customer, but then when the pandemic hit, a bunch of stuff came out about the owners that I found to be really upsetting. And so for that reason, I don't choose to support them anymore. Let's talk about the matcha itself. So if you buy it online right now, you can buy a bag for $60. It used to be sold in a glass jar, which is a dead giveaway to me that the owners know nothing about matcha. Matcha should not be stored in glass jars because when exposed to sunlight, it oxidizes and the quality just deteriorates day by day. And they used to have them sitting like right in front of their windows at the store. So that alone tells me that they're not concerned with the integrity of the product. I won't go into too much depth, but to put it simply, there have been a lot of accusations from previous employees of color who were not treated well. They screen their employees for looks a lot based on like the cafe area and location, which is not something that you should do. They didn't pay their employees when they decided to close their doors during the pandemic. And I think what was most shocking to me is that the owners were very openly, allegedly racist. There's no better way to say it. And I think what really pushed it over the edge for me was that they actually dressed up in geisha costume and posted a video where you could definitely tell the intention was not to appreciate and celebrate the culture. Honestly shocking. And after I saw that, I could no longer publicly support the brand. And I really felt bad because I used to post about them all the time. I really stood behind them as like a cute cafe to go to. I think especially to be racist towards the very culture that you're profiting from is extremely f***ed up. And I feel like not a lot of people know about their history. You can honestly just search on Google and you'll find articles about it. But you know, it's just not a business I can get behind. And honestly, you're not missing on much. Any of the other businesses that I mentioned today, maybe aside from Tenzo, would be amazing businesses to support. And I always come back to my favorite, which is Ippodo. Still reigns my #1 choice. Anyway, that's it for today. I feel really weird talking about this, but I feel like it's important because people have asked me my thoughts on it, and I just want to be honest with you guys. And nothing that I'm saying is out of spite. This is all fact, it's all true, it's all out there, and everything I'm saying is alleged. And that concludes our matcha taste test for today. I'll be back with another one soon. If there are any that you'd like to see me try, please comment below with your favorite matcha brands or any that you're curious about. I plan to do one next featuring brands that are sold in the UK and the EU, just because I know that there's a lot of demand for that. As always, you can find my free matcha guide linked below in the description box, so check that out. And I will also leave a playlist with all of my matcha videos. There are so many and more to come. So I'll see you in another one soon. Bye.